to protect the American people. I think we've known since February of 1998 that Osama bin Laden has declared war, a holy war on the United States and all of our people, military and civilian and families, and whether they're at home or abroad. And we didn't want to take this war to the American people and make it as public as Osama bin Laden has made it. Now it is war.
Are you telling me this morning, General, that there is no doubt in your mind that Osama bin Laden is connected to this, given the sophistication of the operation?
I think the consensus consensus opinion from all of us who followed this is that Osama bin Laden probably is connected in some degree, but Osama bin Laden represents a complete terrorist network. He will have one or more state sponsors, countries that he's either based in or working in collusion with. There'll have been passport support, communication support. Osama bin Laden doesn't own 757 and 767 jets, but somebody has had skill in flying those aircraft. They were recruited by this network. Perhaps they were recruited first and then given practice in flying aircraft by someone who had access to them. We don't know those details yet. But what we do know is this was a very sophisticated terrorist act. It took a large network of planning, support, communications, and coordination to pull it off. And so as we look at this, we're going back to look at those agencies, those individuals that we know have been involved in operations of that magnitude, and his name's at the top of the list. He's a prime suspect, despite the fact that he's denied involvement. That also is a characteristic operating method for Osama bin Laden. He doesn't want to admit involvement. He doesn't want to do anything more to make himself a target. Neither do perhaps some of these states who may have supported him.
I have heard a number of politicians actually increase the heat in their criticism of counterintelligence efforts. They say the government has put far too much emphasis on technical intelligence, not enough emphasis on human intelligence. Is there any explanation for how it is that 4 hijackings took place within a couple-hour period?
Well, we'll all be asking that, Paula, and it'll take several days or weeks, months perhaps, to really sort through all of the causes and effects that were at work here. We know, for example, that we've had difficulty for years penetrating these terrorist groups. Many of them are family-based. They're people who grow up in certain areas. Their backgrounds are carefully vetted. They're screened. They're under observation continuously. So it's difficult to penetrate it. We put restrictions on our own intelligence agencies in terms of who we can operate with. We've done that over the last few years. That makes it even tougher. Some of these agents that probably were involved in this may have been in the United States for years, and so they may have eluded detection. We'll be asking all those questions, and they'll be asked to the right people, and the corrective policies, as best we can understand them, will be undertaken. But
General,
everyone will feel that sense of outrage. There's no doubt about it.
General, I just need a real brief answer to this one. How vulnerable does the United States continue to be?
We're vulnerable. We are vulnerable. And we don't know how vulnerable until we really understand how those people got on board and how they got their weapons and how they took over the aircraft. But we're vulnerable.
General Wesley Clark, thank you so much for your insights this morning. We're going to head back to Atlanta, where Miles O'Brien is standing.